What is up, OSP fam? It's your boy Shaun Q, my partner like always.
J Roman.
And together we are
Oh
OS.
yes.
Oh god damn it. This is gonna be so laggy. I love it. Fuck it. So
Hey,
we
you
are
know what?
following.
This is the new world, baby. It's the new world.
This is what we gotta do. We are following quarantine rules. We are trying to help the to avoid the spread of the virus
Hold on. Are
by
you following quarantine rules? I'm not quarantined.
I mean I'm at
So
home. We could be doing this in front of each other. Why the fuck would we
you
be
mean,
doing this
you
on
mean
Skype?
stay at home. Don't be freaking people out. Quarantining yourself.
What? I'm staying at home. When you are forced to stay at home, that's quarantine.
Kind of, sort of. Okay.
Pretty much how that works. Yeah, that's why we're doing it like this. So I guess this counts as our second video. The first one was, I don't know. This one's gonna be weird because it's our first Skype show. I don't know what the audio is gonna
Skype
sound like,
show.
but that's not our job. That's Dimstrumental's job to fix our audio, which I'm sure he'll
True.
do a dope job of it. So how do we start this episode? I want to thank you, Heavenly Father, don't, for shining your light. You know what I'm talking about? The Kanye, Q-Tip, Busta Rhymes.
Uh, maybe.
My seat just jumped down. Oh, this is gonna be so awkward. You've heard that song? You know what I'm talking about? Kanye, Q-Tip, Busta Rhymes. Thank you.
I know the original, but what you're singing, I don't know that one.
You don't know the Kanye, Q-Tip, Busta Rhymes song I'm talking about?
I don't think
Well,
so.
then I will have to share that with you. Okay. Anyway, this is our OSP Fam Appreciation episode. This is all about the fam. We appreciate all of y'all for listening to us. We appreciate the people who brought in new listeners. We appreciate the people who've been with us since day one. So what we did was, if you were following us on social media, like you're supposed to, then you saw that we were taking fan requests and fam questions. So we have a list of a bunch of questions that were asked to us, and we're going to answer as many as we can, um, correctly, honestly, correctly.
I got a question I want answered honestly right now.
Go.
You got liquor in there?
Huh?
Classic. And should I look at the camera or should I look at you?
I
What
don't
is
know, man.
it?
Just look. I don't. I guess it's like the episode. Like we don't look into the mic. We look at each other. But it's just look
True.
at me. I guess it shows the
True,
camera.
true.
They don't.
I only asked though because Beltria brought basically the only liquor that I could actually enjoy. Because it's the only liquor that I taste the least amount of liquor. Bailey's.
How do you drink your Baileys? Like on the rocks?
In coffee. Isn't that how you do it? Bailey's in coffee or whatever?
I mean, you can.
I don't
Yeah.
drink. No, that's the thing. I don't drink at all. But like I
Yeah.
can tolerate that. And I'm at home right now and I'm, off for a month. I feel like I can maybe get a little something.
Are you drinking Baileys and coffee right now?
No.
Then why the fuck would you hype the people up like that if you're not even drinking it?
I'm just saying I'm a little jealous.
Oh man, you could have made a cocktail. I always have a drink with me.
Nah,
You know
I
that.
gotta
I am missing a drink.
pick up the munchkin, a little bit. A few hours.
Why you say you're not? You think you're gonna get drunk off Baileys and coffee? You think you are that much of a lightweight that Baileys and coffee would?
Hey, if I had enough. The alcohol content is high enough.
Anyway, let's get some of the questions out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna we'll just shoot off back and forth. You pick a question for somebody and we'll answer it, and I'll go. I'll go first because this is a good one. This one he sent us like 3 of them, so we'll get like a couple of them. This comes from King Big Homie Quan.
Yeah.
Who's Accelerated Radio, the takeover on acceleratedраdio.net. Him A+, shout out to G Love. G Lo Smooth, sorry, G Love. I call this dude like a different name. Every time I see this dude, I call him a different name. G Money, G Lo, G Love, Glow. So this, when you got the glow. His question was, what upcoming Marvel movie are we most anticipating for this year?
Yeah.
I'm gonna that to you. What are you most anticipating? Because remember, you were the first one that mentioned it. There was like the first big lull in the MCU since they started doing big things. So we basically haven't had anything since what? Spider-Man, Far From Home.
And Spider-Man ended the Phase 3 part, right? So we're just waiting. Okay, what's coming to Phase 4? Like we knew things were in production. Black Widow's in jeopardy as far as hitting the screen. I think Marvel will still do it because theaters are going to go to some kind of capacity soon. I feel like, not sure. As far as Most anticipated, I'd have to probably say Morbius, because they're
Really?
expanding the Spidey universe, and Spidey's my favorite. So I gotta say Morbius, because I'm really anxious to see how much they connected, because they have the old Tobey Maguire Peter Parker poster or Spider-Man poster in there. They have Vulture showing up in the preview, granted like prison suit or whatever. And I'm anxious to see where it goes. Plus, it just looks dope. It just looks really good.
It does look dope.
It's obvious that Marvel put a lot of back to it. Sony did their thing, but it's one of those things when you see high production like that, as good as it looks, it's MCU. It's not Sony, because Sony doesn't know what the hell to do with Spider-Man. Granted, don't get me wrong, I like Tobey Maguire ones. I love the Amazing Spider-Man, so they know how to do it in that way. But there's just something about it that when it's just them now, you're like, I don't know, because you looked at what happened with Venom, but now this one's actually connecting MCU, so it's different. So I'm like, okay, you're really connecting MCU now, so there's that connection. So how is Venom going to get there at some point? Because that's going to happen. So
yeah, that's the plan.
I say it just looks super dope.
I am excited about the Eternals.
Okay, I haven't seen anything about that. Is there a preview?
There's not a preview yet, but you're talking about Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek.
Oh, see, I have not heard the names yet. Okay.
Oh yeah, Salma Hayek. I don't know if you've seen what Kumail Nanjiani has been doing. How he's got shredded for the movie.
I heard something about that.
Oh, he got shredded for this movie.
Are you saying he can get it?
I mean, I wouldn't give it to him, but somebody's gonna give it to him. What you call it? So I think it's funny that 2 members of Game of Thrones are gonna be in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's gonna be all kinds of crossovers though.
Oh yeah. Both Robb Stark and Jon Snow are going to be in the Eternals. It's got all kinds of people in it. My man Brian Tyree Henry, who I love from Atlanta. I just saw him last night again in Hotel Artemis. He's in.
I'm gonna get into Atlanta while we're under lockdown.
Please, you have to, man. It's such a dope show. But yeah, Brian Tyree, Brian Henry, that dude's everywhere. It's like that show put everybody on the map, and everybody from that show is just doing incredible stuff. So obviously he's going to be in it. I just saw that I'm caught up on Walking Dead. I don't know if I'm kind of caught up on Walking Dead. I watched
up to this season.
No, well, this season, yeah, but I watched the mid-season premiere.
I know the big spoiler that came out recently, and I'm not happy that I know it. But hey, whatever.
Don't kill it. But there's a part I mentioned. I'm not going to tell you about, but I mentioned it, and it kind of happened in a very gross way. But I'll tell you about that later. But the chick, the deaf chick from there, the sister, the one who speaks sign language, she's in Eternals. So they're trying to make it a huge movie, and cross over across a lot of stories, all with this one, to where like the Eternals end up in Avengers movies later and all this. I feel like that's the biggest movie for Marvel that's coming. So that's the movie I'm looking forward to. He asked us another one. So he asked us about WrestleMania. Now,
hold on. Back to the Eternals. Do you know about the Eternals? Have you read the Eternals comic?
I only know the stories that I've been seeing, like the lead ups on YouTube and shit I've been seeing. I don't know the actual story.
Okay, so if I can find it, and granted it's buried in some box, who knows where. If I can find it, I'm gonna get to the Eternals comic before the movie comes out, or maybe I'll just buy you a copy. But you got to read it, because it's very different. Here's what happened in Marvel. They tried to start this storyline with the Eternals. It was a dope storyline, but it didn't go anywhere. It stayed in like this one chapter. It changed like eight part book. That's it, something like that. And Neil Gaiman, the book I showed you the other day, American Gods. Neil Gaiman wrote it with John Romita Jr. Granted, he wrote a later version, so I'm not sure which version they're going to do, because the Eternals were actually started way back when, 60s, 70s, whatever. So I'm really anxious to see what angle they're taking. So that's why I asked if you knew the backstory. So maybe look it up a little bit or something.
None whatsoever. I will though. I don't. I mean, I have like my. I showed you. I have what Mom's got me, the Marvel Encyclopedia.
Oh
so
yeah.
Individual characters and read about their shit if I have to. But other than that, I don't really know.
That's true.
So Big Homie Quan is a big wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. You haven't watched wrestling in a long time. We used to watch it together when we lived together. But one of his questions was, because WrestleMania is basically canceled, and there's nothing creepier than watching wrestling in front of no crowd. It's just weird.
It's weird for a lot of things.
It's weird, like to
even Like even Trevor Noah, I'm listening to the podcast with no crowd and nobody else but him,
Yeah,
and
nobody
it makes me
laughs.
wonder. Nobody laughs. It makes me wonder if the joke funny if no one else is laughing, but you're still telling it. Like you
Well,
don't
yeah.
know if someone's laughing, you know?
Oh, it's not if it's funny. You just don't know if it hit or not. Yeah, like
Yeah. That's what it is.
they can't go through and edit it out. Like that one didn't hit. Scratch that one. You just have to throw them jokes out there.
True. True.
That's
Hold on, I'm
scary.
trying to change the setting of my damn screen here so I could freaking keep it from turning off of me. Gosh darn it. Stupid screen.
Oh, thank
Stupid
you.
screen or stupid me. One of those things. Huh? Fuck it.
Doom, doom,
Anyway.
doom, doom.
All right.
So you haven't watched wrestling in a while. He asked because WrestleMania is basically canceled. What would be our ultimate WrestleMania card? Now we're not gonna do a whole card, which is the whole, WrestleMania is always like 10, 15, 20, 30 matches. So what we can do is we can just pick what would be our favorite if we could put together one match for WrestleMania out of every wrestler who's ever lived, living or dead or whatever. Who would it be? What would that match be?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
I've already seen it multiple times.
Which match is that?
Stone Cold and The Rock.
You would do Stone Cold and Rock one more time?
Over and over.
On repeat.
On repeat. Exactly. They had the most dynamic personalities in the WWE, WWF at the time. You know what I mean? They were still coming up. Granted, Stone Cold was on his way up because of the neck injury, but they were still getting their thing going. And you saw, Shawn Michaels and all that. They put on great shows. So it'd either be that or a dope tag team, DX versus, I don't even know who, Legion of Doom or something like that if they were still mentally stable.
I like it.
Or wait, who's the four horsemen?
Yeah.
DX versus the four horsemen. I would do that.
Ooh. Yeah.
Granted, that's young versus old at that point. But
yeah, but I mean,
kind of sort of
picked them in their prime. Yeah, that would be. I like that one.
Yeah.
I think I would do.
I don't even know the new guys' names.
I would do a fatal four-way match. And it would be the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, of course.
Be obviously my favorite of all time, Stone Cold. It would have The Rock in there because he's still one of the greatest, and one who I always wanted to see, who I felt like it's like with basketball and like when we talk about sports and how some players played well enough they could transition to the next generation, and some couldn't cut it.
Oh yes.
Outside of Ric Flair, who I feel like could have wrestled today's generation and in the Attitude Era, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh,
so I would put Macho Man, and here's why:
because he's a beast.
Not because
skills.
Not only is he a beast, not only is he a great wrestler, but to imagine the promos that the four of them would cut on a fucking microphone before the match.
Okay, well, there's that. Yeah.
Comes out, does his thing. The people's eyebrow. He's talking shit about all of them. Stone Cold talks about how many mud holes he's gonna stomp in everybody. Shawn Michaels thanks Jesus and then talks about the ass he's gonna kick. And then the fucking psychopath has his. They're like, we're gonna cut away to Macho Man Randy Savage. What do you feel about it? Oh yeah, let me tell you what's gonna happen to these some bitches. Bro, I can watch that.
These some bitches.
Just to see the look on Rock and Stone Cold and HBK's face, like, oh man, we gotta fight this psychopath. Like, I would love for that to be a fatal four-way. And then the match itself would be insane. Because Macho Man had one of the greatest WrestleMania matches ever with Ricky Steamboat. Shawn Michaels is the greatest in-ring technician of all time. Stone Cold is the shit, and Rock can go with anybody. It would be a bomb-ass fucking match. That would be my WrestleMania fantasy main event. And Vince McMahon would be the special guest referee.
Okay.
Who's he gonna fuck in this one? That would be mine. One more question from Big Homie Quan was, since we're on quarantine, as far as quarantine and chill, what are you watching?
I'm looking at this. What are we cooking?
Okay. Oh yeah, it's quarantine.
Okay.
He said, so imagine we were all single, which I mean I am, and he said it was addressed to me, you, and Vel, but Vel's not here. He goes, if we're all single and we're on quarantine and chill. Now, mind you, every time Big Homie Quan makes a video, he's cooking something, and it's usually chicken. And so he's
you
like,
can hear the popping in the background.
You can hear the grease popping. You can hear it, and he'll do one of these every once in a while. So I got a question. What are you guys gonna getting popped by the grease? He's getting popped by the Crisco.
Oh my gosh!
He'll ask. He asked if we were on quarantine and chill, and we had a girl over. One, what would we cook her? And two, is she staying the night after we cook dinner? Now, I feel like two is an option. Like we can't really tell her, bitch, I just cooked for you. Least you could do is stay over here. Pay me back for the
Wait,
food. I get food is a resource
can't
right now.
you can't do that?
Apparently, that's not allowed anymore. So it's frowned upon.
Maybe not in
Um,
that tone, sir.
right, right. I would have to do it in John Legend style. I would really appreciate if you'd like to stay, but I understand if you want to go home. I will call you a cab. Your Uber is outside. Like, do it that fucking. So I would cook catfish because that's my go-to when I cook. That's my peanut butter, my jelly, and my jam. And so far, I've had no complaints on my catfish. So I would cook some catfish. The side dish, I don't know what I could either do spaghetti. You know what? Spaghetti with catfish on top, actually, don't underestimate it. That shit is actually bomb.
I'm
Fix your
not.
okay, because your face says otherwise.
I'm not saying I wouldn't eat it, but I wouldn't naturally just throw those together.
This guy would. This guy. Don't knock it till you try it. It's actually really good. But after that, I mean, it depends on how I made the catfish. Did I make it like the way I normally make it? Did I Cosby it? Like, is she? I mean, it's on her if she wants to stay the night.
Did you Cosby it?
Did I hit her with the pill
What the hell are
Cosby?
you saying right now?
I
Oh
don't
my
get
gosh.
I don't get the follow up question like, is the girl staying the night? I'm like, if she wants, I mean, she's gonna be full for one. We'll probably watch a movie or something after that, or chop it. I don't know, man. I don't know. We might. Up. You know what? I'm gonna put it like this. So far, people who've had my catfish have tried to fuck me.
I'll take it. Screw it. That sounds fine.
I'm
That
just saying,
sounds
I'm batting 1,000 right now, so I don't see
Oh
me
my
striking out.
gosh.
What are you cooking?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I wouldn't even try to cook. I'd just go get some fried chicken, some potato salad. I'd probably make the cornbread. I could do that. I could do a couple things. I'd just make a meal, just a get down, greasy hands meal that makes you feel good. Granted, because this is, quarantine time, so you got to have, being in quarantine, I got to keep it a little bit leaner, a little meaner because I'm not as active because I'm not out there working all that. So I got to be more active in the house, eat less. But for the Netflix and chill time, you got to get the comfort food.
Yeah.
Comfort food, movie-wise, don't know, not sure yet. Depends on the type. My wife's an action girl, so we could throw on a superhero flick, or we could put on something, like Altered Carbon, which granted she hasn't watched yet, which I don't know why, because it's everything that's her style of show, all put in one. So, but we could put on, we could binge some Homeland or something like that. She likes all that stuff, and I like that stuff too. It's good when it's intense and HBO style, Showtime style, all that stuff. But when it's ABC and all that, I don't want to see all that nonsense. That's too easy going. It's too soft. It's soft.
And I want my action shit to be thrillers. I don't know if they're gonna die at the end of the episode.
And there has to be cake.
There has to be cake. Are you referring to her booty, J. Roman? There has to be.
I will eat cake off the cake.
Okay. All right, we got that one. Shoot another one. Shoot it.
I like Vicky. I gotta say, what do you think of Robert Pattinson playing the new Batman?
Have we talked about this? Were you the one that was telling me all the shit he did since Twilight?
A little bit. I did say he's done stuff, and in fact, there was one on yesterday. Damn it, what was the name of that? I want to go back and watch it.
It was called Twilight New Bitches.
What? Yeah, sure. So I never watched the Twilight show movies because I told you, I'm not sure if I said in the podcast, I like my vampires down and dirty. They could be good looking, but they got to be dirty. You know what I mean? I don't like them glittering and all this nonsense. Plus, you know what? It's also the same time as Underworld and all these other ones where, the werewolves and all. Yeah, they were better. The werewolves and the vampires are getting together and all this other nonsense. I don't need to see all the that kind of pretty shit when it comes to my vampires.
The teenage angst of vampires.
Yeah, I want to see that nonsense.
But when the sun hits him, he's like sparkly, and I don't.
I tried to tell my boss about it, and she's like, "No, all I ever see is glitter. Whenever I think about him, I just think of glitter. So I don't like him as the new Batman." I'm like, "See, that's not giving him a chance."
No, right.
I think I'm doing pretty good, not ever seeing him in that. I know him in the role, of course. He was posters everywhere.
Right.
But now I've only ever seen him in clips of other stuff. I cannot remember the freaking movie. It was just on yesterday that he was in. And I was like, ooh, he's in this. Let me check it out. And it was like 2011. So I'm going to just IMDb it and check it out. But I think he's going to be all right. I think it might be a nice surprise. No one expected Christian Bale to be the best Batman since Michael Keaton. You know what I mean? So, you know, in my opinion, of course, you know. It can't be a fact because of my opinion, but still.
No, not
who
at
do
all.
you like more than Michael Keaton?
No, I don't like anybody more than Michael Keaton. Okay, two things, and I've had this conversation with multiple people. In my opinion, the top 3 Batmen go as follows. Number 3, Ben Affleck. As far as playing both Batman and Bruce Wayne. For the time that he was for the time he was supposed to be. I don't like Christian Bale as Batman. I like him as Bruce Wayne.
Really?
I like him as the playboy that you see that learned to fight with Ra's al Ghul. I don't like his, where is she?
I guess we never talked about this. I didn't know this. I guess we never talked about it. I did not know this. You felt like this.
I don't like that shit. I don't like his stupid Batman voice. How he can't just have his voice. I get he's trying to strike fear in the hearts of people, but when he does it, it sounds like he's talking like this on purpose.
He should have used the modulator. He should have used the modulator.
Because this isn't frightening at all. I have an overbite. Where is she? I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all. That shit would not scare me if I was afraid of Batman. So it goes Ben Affleck, because with or without the cowl, Ben Affleck, especially now that he's in shape, is intimidating. He's bigger than everybody else, and he plays the rich guy very well because we all know in real life, Ben Affleck's rich as fuck. I like Ben Affleck. Number 2, Michael Keaton. He did both very well. He had his normal voice when he was Batman. He had his normal voice when he was Bruce Wayne. He had the quips, the one-liners. He was dark. He would show his crazy side. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I like it. And number 1, the greatest Batman of all time can never be replicated because he's as close as we can get to the Batman we know, which is the one from the animated series. Animated Batman is the best Batman ever.
Oh my god!
Ever.
Just go there.
Yeah. Batman is he's a fucking comic book.
He didn't even have facial expressions.
Yes, he did. Like the real Batman, his mouth didn't move. Nobody is a better Batman than the animated series Batman. Nobody.
I can't trust you anymore on the subject.
Next question.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Vicky, for that one. And to answer the question, I don't know. There's been so many new Batman. It's like saying, how do you feel about this person being the next Spider-Man? I won't judge him till I see it. I had no idea who the fuck Tom Holland was, and he's my favorite Spider-Man so far. So I have no idea. I'm excited. Batman and Wolverine are my 2 favorite superheroes, so I'm excited. I am much more excited about Robert Pattinson playing Batman than I will ever be about whoever the fuck is the next Wolverine. Because whoever you are, I don't like you. However, I didn't like Hugh Jackman either, though. At first, I didn't like Hugh Jackman. Remember when
he's too big?
Because he's fucking a foot taller than the original Wolverine. He doesn't have the hunch. If they get a dude to come in who's 5'7" and it's like a shredded up fucking Rey Mysterio who can act and play that, I would love that. Give me a little dude that's stocky and can be thrown across.
Besides his voice, that's why I always wanted Tom Hardy to be Wolverine. And he asked for it. He said, make me Wolverine. And I think he even dressed up, or someone did a poster of him, and they did a Photoshop of him, and it looked dope. And I was like, he would be perfect because he's not super tall. He's not short either, but he's not super tall. But he's real stocky.
Yeah.
He has that big old neck, and he'd be like, ugh. And can you imagine, like, his claws come out? He's like, ugh. You know, I'm like, I don't know if he can grow a good beard. I can't remember the last time I seen him with a beard. Like a real beard. But something like that, man. Oh, my gosh. Hardy as Venom, I don't like because the Eddie Brock character he plays, that direction is not Eddie Brock. He's that's kind of Eddie Brock in some takes, but the standard Eddie Brock, that's not Eddie Brock. So that take, I didn't like it. I do like the hard hitting Vice type reporter shit. That was dope. I like that angle.
Right.
But his voice being just off, his attitude just being off, he's not right for Venom. You need someone that's aggressive and feels aggressive. And also goes from kind of like a smaller guy. You know what I mean? Like, granted, don't get me wrong. Actually, no, Eddie Brock was big in the comics, so never mind. He was buff, so I can't really go there. But I don't know. Tom Hardy didn't as Venom, fine. But he would have been a super dope Wolverine, man. Super freaking.
I could see Tom Hardy as a dope Wolverine because I don't know. Logan to me, I mean, Hugh Jackman later on got ripped, but he was too skinny. When you think Wolverine and when Wolverine would take his shirt off, you're like, this is a small, compact, dangerous monster of a creature.
Yeah,
And the closest they got is like when he did Logan and he's like in the best shape of his life, he's
yeah.
still a lean, tall guy.
Plus,
It's just
also, you can't have the joke play off of Sabretooth like runt. Come on,
exactly.
runt. You know,
Yeah,
he may have been a
because
runt to leave Schreiber,
right, but even
but
Lee Schreiber kind of looked over at him like they were still kind of eye to eye. You're like,
yeah,
dude, he's 6'2". You're not calling a 6'2" dude a runt.
yeah.
Unless fucking Sabretooth is played by the Big Show. It's anyway, I didn't like it. Um, we got one from Jump and Joe Thomas.
I know. That. This one's for you.
Oh, this for me? No, we could both spit on this. The question is, what are your thoughts on ghostwriting? Now, ghostwriting has been around since the dawn of writing.
Yeah.
It's everybody, a lot of people ever, as far as books, music, movies, have somebody who's
Speeches.
speeches, have somebody who's
Speech
just
writers for the people that we
better
look up.
at writing they are. There's somebody who's a good writer, and there's somebody who can deliver it well. And there are people who can do both, but don't get the opportunity, so they just write for the people who do have that opportunity. So I don't. I mean, I'm sure he's talking about. I'm assuming he's talking about music because he writes. Um, I would say ghostwriting now in hip hop now makes zero sense to me. Because if all you're doing is yeah, yeah, skirt, brr, rat-tat-tat, who the fuck do you need to write your yas for you? Who the fuck is writing your rat-tat-tats
What
for
about the
you?
lyrics in between?
What lyrics?
Okay, yo, I got a little counter for that.
I'm sure he's talking
So
about Drake too, which I'll talk about in a
it's
second.
talking
But let
about a
me
lot
hear
of
you.
people, because ghostwriting is a huge. It's been huge for a long time, and it was always looked down upon when you found out a rapper had ghostwriting for. Until you realize, you know what? They're not really a rapper, like Dre, like Puff, like these guys. But you also never saw a Premier rap. You know what I mean? No one ever ghostwrite for him because he's like, no, I produce, I don't rap. And
I
maybe he
mean,
felt
he's
like,
rap, but it was funny. You could tell he wrote it himself.
yeah, and that's fine. But it's like it's odd because Eazy-E he didn't write his own stuff, at least
Right.
not early on, and maybe they do later. But as far as the sounds and all that, though, I gotta say I've been listening to a lot of older stuff as I usually do, and the older cats do the same shit. You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to ease up on that because a lot of people have their own thing, like yo 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 yo, and or like Stabell said, or like turn my earphones up, where he says like a
The
dozen
headphones
times,
up in my left ear.
so everyone kind of had that. So I'm over that part. The mumble lyrics kind of kill me, but the ghostwriting, my thing is when it comes to hip hop, you should always write of your own stuff, like of your own experiences, but also it's tough. It's really tough because a lot of these guys rapped about what they saw, not what
Right.
they experienced. So if they
Right.
saw drug deals going down, they rapped about seeing it. Sometimes they rapped as if they did them. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's kind of where it kind of, I don't know what to think about that sometimes because like, wait, you didn't experience that. But when it comes to maybe someone putting a line in for you, fixing a word or two, I'm good with that. I don't consider that the same. That's maybe co-production, co-writing.
Or yeah, it'd be like your editor. If you change ghostwriter, somebody wrote. I guess like it's. I'm sure a lot of these people are talking about Drake. Like I know everybody knows that Drake has a ghostwriter, and that's because it kind of answers your question when you're like, I don't like when Drake tries to come off as hard. That's because that ain't Drake saying that shit. Drake is literally an actor on a track. Some of the shit he's like is his, some of it is not, but he's acting out somebody else's life.
Yeah,
And he got past the point where people were like, "Oh, this nigga ain't real." He didn't want to. I mean, if you know that he's an actor and he's acting out somebody else's shit, then treat him accordingly. Don't
yeah,
call him one of the greatest lyricists. Don't say that because he's delivering somebody else's shit.
yeah,
He's a good performer. He can deliver. Like he can change it and be like, "All right, I like the way you wrote it. I'm gonna rap it like this." That's
yeah.
fine. I'm cool with that. But
Yeah.
don't say these are your experiences and don't try to come off like you're this hard dude because the hard guy who wrote that shit for you, I would rather hear him do it. Maybe his
Yeah.
delivery is trash. Maybe he doesn't have the same production value you have. Maybe he didn't sing it out the way you sung it out, bitch ass nigga. But whatever the fuck it is, a ghostwriter, as long as the dude's getting paid for it, I'm cool with it. If the chick who's writing for Megan the Stallion or whatever is getting paid, I'm cool with it. Just because I'm a huge fan of writers getting paid. Let them get paid.
That's a good point, because I hate when cats come off hard and you know they're not hard. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's because he didn't write that. He wasn't singing that from experience.
True.
I like that. Thank you, Joe, for that one. Let's get a so do the one your boy Ink and Celluloid said. I'm gonna re up on this team first. Ask the question.
All right. Well, Mr. Ink Celluloid asked, "What do I think of the new Jay Electronics album?"
And, said, what do we think?
That's true. And you know what? I'm not the jury's still out. I like it so far, but it for me so far does what a lot of producer albums do, and it's features people that maybe aren't as good, and then features people that are really good, and you're like, okay, this is an interesting mix, and then they throw themselves on there, and that's fine because Jay Electronic is dope. He can do his thing. So far, I like it though. The beats are dope. The samples are dope. I know you don't like JayZ on there. He's undercut a lot though. Like 3 or 4 songs I already heard, if I'm correct. You know, it's one of those things where I appreciate him asking because I wouldn't have sought it out. There was one song already when I looked up the album. Apparently, I had already liked on Spotify. I didn't notice. So I was like, oh, that's a dope song. So I put on the others and I was like, okay, now I see what's going on. Now I see the thing. Thing is, unfortunately, since I don't have the album and I don't have Spotify Premium, I can't listen to it in order. I'm an album listener. I'm not a single listener. I need to hear it in order because Jay Electronica is doing something. He's an artist, and in the definition of artist, like he's showing you a whole picture. He's painting you a whole picture with the album. He's saying something with the whole thing, not song by song by song, and it's all over the place. Right. So what I've heard is a very consistent sound, which is good. I really, really appreciate that, which is why I do like producer albums sometimes, because it's not like a Drake album where there's 8 different producers and the sound is inconsistent. It has a consistent sound. That I like so far. The rest is I'm still out in jury as far as everything goes, but lyrically it's dope. Lyrically and beats wise, it's dope. I need to get more into it. I need to be able to like sit down, lie on my bed, headphones on, and just zone out. That's what I need to do.
I would like to thank Ink and Celluloid for trying to force me to listen to the new JayZ album.
Next question. He is on Rock. What's the name of their label now?
Yeah, he's with
Rockefeller Fam with the Rockefeller Fam with the Twinner. This and that with my girl Beyonce.
It was a fucking hustle to get me to listen to a JayZ album. Bullshit. I liked the production of it. I didn't like out of them. I was like, all right. After 4 tracks, I was like, oh, this nigga think he's slick. Next question.
All right. Ooh, here you go. What's a bad habit that you or a loved one do?
I ain't got no loved ones. No, there is no bad habit that I do. Shit. A bad habit that I'm trying to work on.
Sure. Okay. Wasn't asked like that, but yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what a bad habit that I have. I mean, that bothers me.
Have a bad one. If you know you have a bad one, then yeah, you should be working on it, right? So
yeah, right. I think that's not a bad habit. I don't know, biting my nails just because I don't like trimming them with the clippers.
It's gross.
Shut up. What's yours?
You should stop doing that.
Shut up. What's yours? You coffee drinking fucking. That's just trying to shit on you. What do you got? What do you got?
Bad habit. I think it's. I'm not sure yet. I'm sure I have quite a few.
Pick one.
I don't watch enough clothes.
You don't what?
I don't watch enough clothes.
Well, that's just selfish of you. Okay, that one came from Yep, It's Me for sure.
That's a weird name.
So I want to do the one that Rio sent in.
Okay. How
do you feel about a 1-game playoff for the teams battling for the 8th spot in the NBA? Now, a 1-game playoff for the teams battling in the 8th spot. As of right now, there is no NBA. We should be battling for fucking finals just between Milwaukee and LA based on the records. So I don't even know how they're going to battle. But I mean, I like it. I like the concept of that. A 1-game playoff, kind of like they did in baseball, as opposed to like to fight for the number 8 spot.
Yeah, I guess so.
I
feel like I've seen that. I feel like they've done one before, way back.
It was a tiebreaker. Yeah, I remember it was like a draw. I remember my Bulls were involved in one, and it was because we had the same record and it was like they had to play this game.
Same record against each other and everything. Yeah.
Right, but it's the eighth spot, and I don't remember the last time an eighth spot made it past like the second round. So technically, it doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, for baseball, it's nerve-wracking, man.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
nerve-wracking. And the Yankees have been in that damn game a few times, and every time my heart is pounding every single pitch.
Yeah.
Basketball, I don't know. I would get kind of pissed off if the wrong team made it in, I guess you could say. Because anybody can have a bad game.
Eighth, what's the wrong team?
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but any team can make it in. And that's the thing. In the playoffs, everything changes. Everybody's formidable. So what's happening?
Oh, you froze. I don't know why I thought waving at the screen would unfreeze you.
Unfreeze. Like a Jedi. Unfreeze now. Unfreeze now.
This is not the time you want to freeze. Yeah, I like that question. Thank you, Rio, for that.
I thought you would.
So shoot one at me. Shoot one. Shoot it. Shoot it.
Oh, okay, fine.
Oh,
Okay,
I know
you
which
can't
one.
answer that one. Of course not.
Wait, why not? Why not?
Because it has to do with JayZ, and you don't listen to JayZ.
Answer it. Ask it.
Okay, great. Was the second half of this is from Daniel in LA? Was the second half of JayZ as an artist better than the first half of all other artists in this generation? In other words, current artists are terrible compared to even the latter day Jay.
So Daddy's clearly a JayZ fan.
Yes.
This is what I can say, and this is not me hating on JayZ. This is a serious answer from a lover of, from a lover of music. I disagree because I feel like J. Cole, Big Sean, Kendrick Lamar are all better than latter JayZ. That's all. So for him to say, like,
hold on. Define your latter JayZ. Where's that start for you?
Well, from what he said to me, latter JayZ is after Blueprint 3.
Yeah. Oh, after Blueprint 3? Okay.
Yeah, after Blueprint 3. So to say that even old JayZ is better than this whole generation, I disagree. Because I think Big Sean's dope, J. Cole's dope, Kendrick Lamar is fucking insane. And I feel like they're all better than what he considers to be a because he's saying that, like, if latter JayZ is not as good as earlier JayZ. So if he's saying that, then I think, all three of them are better than latter JayZ. And that's to me, like, they're this generation. I don't know how he feels about them versus older JayZ. I know how I feel about it, but I would get people arguing younger JayZ versus Kendrick and younger JayZ, but latter JayZ versus Kendrick, not a competition. Even Big Sean is dope as fuck, and J. Cole would murder him. So I disagree with that, only because I had three options of better rappers than what he considers to be a lesser version of JayZ.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's tough for me because I have all the Jay albums except for maybe two, and it's only because I've never seen them on the shelf. Apparently, when they got put through Tidal, they didn't actually make a lot of physical copies. Whatever. Older JayZ is good, and in a lot of ways because he's raw and all that. So I understand the comparison what you're saying from the new guys to his early self.
Right.
But I'm sorry, I say older, but younger JayZ, I should say. Older career. Anyway, so young JayZ versus them now, I think you're in a really good direct competition, except the styles are quite different, though.
Right.
Jay's style from early on is way different than now, so it's a little different. But when he got on his grind with not only Blueprint, people don't realize it wasn't just Blueprint that started the wave of what JayZ became later. It was a little bit right before that, Sean Carter Volume 3 and all that. Yeah. He was doing all that stuff first. Then Blueprint hit, and it's like, oh, shit. This is grown man shit right here. So you can't really compare those because he still has fire, he still has lyrics, he still has delivery, he still has good beats, and he's bigger than ever at the time. He's growing, he's moving up. So he's really influenced a lot since then. Griminess, rawness, and all that, you always got to take the first few albums. Because Hard Knock Life Volume 2 is a dope-ass album, and those lyrics hit harder than a lot of the songs on Blueprint. But Blueprint showed that this guy has grown up. He's around 40 years old now. Or I'm sorry, 30-something, right? Early 30s.
No. Jay's older than 50, that.
I know that, but I'm saying around Blueprint time. He's like 32, 33, some shit like that. He just turned 50, right? So he's giving you some grown man shit. And you're like, okay, he has matured. So he doesn't need to be the grime anymore. And he's one of the very few that have realized that. They don't need to fake the funk at that point. He's made it. And he starts rapping about that grown man shit. And of course, Beyonce's there at this point and all that. And she's showing her thing. And and they're doing it together. But it's a hard comparison. All the other rappers now, oh yeah, Jay's a lot better than most of them. But you gave three good examples. I don't really know Big Sean's music. I definitely know J. Cole and Kendrick though, and they're monsters. They are young, hungry monsters. You'd have to compare, early JayZ with early them because they're different. But early JayZ, like JayZ's first album, is better than J. Cole's first album. It is better than Kendrick Lamar's first album. It's just a matter of it's different eras though. It's different eras.
Right.
You're talking 20-year gap here.
But the question is latter JayZ better than all the artists out now? And we both disagree because of Kendrick and J. Cole. Okay. But I mean, I'm sure he was talking about all the mumble rappers and the bullshit that's out. But there's exceptions to every rule, and there's still good rap out there, is what we were trying to get to. Thank you, Daniel. We appreciate that, Danny boy. What's another one? What do we got?
Moms, the teacher, asked us, what are the opinions on expressing your political views at your job?
So here's why that came up. Moms called me and she said, like, we had a full conversation. Shout out to Moms, by the way. She said she disagreed with our Shut Up and Dribble or Don't You Dare Shut Up and Dribble episode, parts of it. She disagreed because she said somebody explained to her that Colin Kaepernick should not have taken a knee during the game because he was at work. It was part of his job, and you're not allowed to express your political views at work. She said she, as a teacher, is not allowed to go in and express her political views to these kids because she's at work. I explained to her that at the time, there was nothing in his contract that said he could not take a knee to express something or a way he felt. And it didn't happen until after he did that. Then they start putting it in people's contracts. So he was not violating any contract. And he didn't have a platform. Like she said, Muhammad Ali used his platform when he wasn't in the ring. When he was in the ring, he was boxing. But when he was doing interviews or press conferences, that's when he would express his opinion. In the ring, he would box. To which my response was, one, if he started talking in the middle of the ring, he would have got the shit knocked out of him.
A little different.
Two, it's not. He didn't. If he had a chance to like take a knee during the national anthem, who knows if he even would have thought about doing that or if he would have done it. So we can't compare the two, but I get her thing is she's a teacher and she teaches our youth, and they come to her and they ask her questions about Trump and her opinion about, her political views, and she has to be on the fence of what she can and cannot say. Even though Moms is a very smart woman, she's got tons of knowledge, she's got life experience. She has opinions on these things, but legally, as far as her job is concerned, she can't express those. And so I guess her question was, like she wanted us to enlighten her, like, how do we feel about that? Like, if there's a teacher who has an opinion on certain things, should they be allowed to express those to the youth, or is it like a just follow the curriculum type thing?
See, the issues with those is there's a lot of teachers who have been out there expressing their political views. And then they get videotaped, and then they get fired, and they get sued and all that. I understand the don't talk work, right? Don't talk at work, right? So 3 things you don't talk about at work: politics, religion, sex, right? Because people always get heated. So when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion is very, very subjective. Everybody has a different freaking version of the Bible. There's a couple different versions of the Quran. There's different versions of the Torah. So those are a lot of opinions by 100,000,000 different churches, right? So whatever church you went to, you have that view. So you don't really speak on that because you never know. When it comes to politics, there are facts and there is fiction. When it comes to politics, when you speak politics at work, forget opinion. Speak the facts. Let someone else form their opinion. If you even go there. And here's the trouble. You have to be able to find the person, because sometimes you're at work and you have to express these things. You just have to like let it out, right? You got to talk to somebody. You have to know that one person that is not going to blow up, that will listen to you, that will be subjective, be objective, and also come at you with their own opinion in a respectful, knowledgeable way. And if not, come at them like you do. I don't know enough. I'll get back to you. When it comes to stuff like that, like politics, just speak the facts. Let them make their own decision. Because when you try to change people's opinions, that's when you get into the fights. If you just say, this is a fact, like, for instance, right now with the coronavirus. we in this country don't have enough ventilators, right? For the possibility of a nationwide crazy problem. Right now, the hotspots are in big cities. Imagine the whole nation got covered in coronavirus, right? And we needed 365 million ventilators, minimum 50 million. And you say, you know what? We are not prepared for this. We don't have 50 million ventilators because our administration did not put forth the effort and the money to get this done. That's a fact. That is a fact. You know what I mean? Because they had the opportunities. They have the resources to do this. They have the companies that they can hire to have done this over the years to prepare for something like this. So that's a fact. Then you let them go. You let them say what they want to say. Oh, no, I don't agree, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not for you to agree with. That's the fact. We don't have 50 million ventilators. You know, so it's like...
The issue I have with that is in today's time where everybody has an opinion, everybody has...
Actually, you know, and maybe not even say because this administration, because the administration, just say because overall our country hasn't produced this. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's the thing is I feel like when it comes to facts, especially now, the way technology is, you don't even know what's fact and what's fiction anymore. There could be 50 million fucking ventilators sitting in a warehouse somewhere. We don't know. We have no idea. So we don't know what the fuck is fact anymore and what's fiction, but everybody's taking opinion as fact. And that is where I agree with you. You can't just say what you know. And you know me, I'm a huge fan of if you are going to say it as a fact, research the fuck out of it. Know that what you're about to say, because people will fact check you while you're speaking. Oh, really? There's not according to Google, you're full of shit. You're like, all right, so if you're going to speak facts, do the research, look it up, and know what you're talking about. If you have to talk politics or speak about something, do the research, know what the fuck you're talking about, and then bring it up. If you're going to only say facts. But as far as opinions, yeah, people throw their opinions out all the time. That doesn't mean it's real. Fake news exists.
Politics are personal, so anything personal at work, you kind of just have to leave out until you find that person who is friendly, you know, enough. Yeah.
Especially in a school environment, because you are a teacher and these kids are looking up to you. They look at you for guidance, for advice, for knowledge, for education. Like you have to. It's hard to be a teacher because you technically can't be yourself.
Nope.
You go into work, and it's not like a lot of other jobs where you're like, I'm just go to work, I'm clock in, I'm gonna mind my business, I'm gonna keep my head down. You can't. You have to speak, but you have to speak actual. You have to speak factual, and you can't speak a lot of opinion. If you do, you're walking on this line of this opinion offended student number fucking 57. Yep. It's rough. So teachers have it hard. I feel like they should get paid more than athletes. That's a different subject. Let's get another question. Let's get one more in there. I saw we got one from Sam who asked us 47 questions. First she asked us 0, and then she asked 47. So I'll let you go through and pick one. And this is the one. Which one did you pick?
All right. So this is one actually I've talked about with people, not with you, I don't think, but it says, when do you think the actual depression is going to roll in? After the pandemic? And at what magnitude? What's going to be recessed if compared to the big one that was in the 20s, which granted started late 20s, but rolled into the 30s. And actually, we didn't get out of it really till World War I and alphabet soup, mid 30s. So it took a long time. I'm sorry, not World War I, World War II.
So
like World War II really took us completely out of it, but you know what I mean.
So you're asking when is the depression? She's asking when is the depression actually going to roll in? Like when is it actually going to take effect? Mm-hmm. I think it depends on how long it takes before there's a cure and people and things have returned to what has been considered normal.
Yeah.
If it lasts less than another month, I don't think it'll be that bad. If it lasts more than another month, to the point where this is not something we prepared for, it's not something we planned for, it's not something that has ever happened in our generation. So, and it hasn't happened in the era of technology to where a lot of things have changed dramatically from when it first happened, then I think it would take a long time. The depression would kick in before the end of 2020, is what I'm saying. If this takes another 2 months or whatever, small businesses are closing, people don't have money to pay for shit, people start to lose their minds. God forbid the internet shuts down. I was on last night, I was playing Xbox with my boy, and we're playing Madden, my boy Lauren, and our internet, the whole household, like our internet went down. And so I immediately thought, oh, y'all are worried about tanks? Because if the internet shuts down, people are going to lose their fucking minds. We are forced in the house right now. Like we can't really go anywhere. And they're already slowing down like bandwidths and everything to try to accommodate everybody. But if the internet were to shut down, a depression is the last thing we'd have to worry about. Murder in the streets is what we'd have to be worried about. All this shit that people are panicking for. I need so much toilet paper. I need this. Only worry about that when the internet shuts down. If that happens, game over, man. Game over. Yeah, for Chris.
So I gotta say my answer is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of two-parters. So I've been under the impression that the depression's actually started already, right? The recession's already started. Not because I'm not paying attention to the stock market and all that stuff. Here's the deal. People who have money, and some people who have a little bit, retirement, with all that, they're the ones investing, doing their thing, right?
Right.
But it's still the rich people who keep getting richer. And they've gotten richer now that the stock market crashed. It's going back up already. They're getting richer again. The people who have nothing still have nothing. And now they have less because they have bills coming. They have no pay coming. Stuff like that. So, and they have low wage jobs. So this whole economy that we're built on, this whole like credit economy, has already been on the downslide. And not because people aren't making money, but it's because they're not making enough. Right. So the divide is getting bigger. So not only is a depression going to come, but possibly a revolution is going to come. How, in what form? Not sure yet, because you know what happened back in after the last one hit is the 99% protests. Where did they end up going? Not really anywhere. They're still just as poor, more poor than before. The gap is bigger. The real estate companies figured out a new way to screw everybody versus the old way, which basically turned out to be the same thing, but they're doing a different tactic for it and getting away with it with different types of laws. There's always going to be the ones that manipulate those laws to the extent that they can to make themselves more enriched, right?
Of course.
So it's kind of worse out because low-wage workers are the first ones to go. They're the first ones to suffer. So all these hundreds of thousands low employment jobs and all that crap are going to go by the wayside like they already have. So this is just the rolling. It's already been rolling because $15 an hour in this economy isn't going to get you anywhere. You know how much $15 a week is for a whole 2 weeks on a check? It's about $1,000. That's before taxes. Right. All right. You're not gonna get anything with that. You're not gonna
catch up.
Especially when now we're rent out here. So rent in Southern California is what? Average $2,200 for a fucking one bedroom, right? Some crap like that in LA for a studio. You can maybe do that in Tennessee, but guess what? Tennessee's not going to pay you. They're not going to pay you $15 an hour.
Right.
So the depression kind of has already started. It's under the surface, man. It's under the surface. And this is really showing its ugly face. Like, oh, we've been putting all this money into these different things, and it's all coming down off a huge crisis because we're not prepared for it. Throwing money at a crisis is fine, but a ton of jobs aren't going to come back. A ton of people aren't going to get rehired. So they're still going to get into some kind of downturn market. How big it gets depends on what people decide to do with it. If they decide to revolt and actually try and get something from it or get something going, that could change things. Sucks is we don't know where this guy's going to be in a year from now. He may still be our president. If that's the case, he's going to keep touting this great economy that's only helping rich people.
Like him.
Like him. Exactly. It's going to just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Who's going to stop that? Because the rich people control it. They control everything. You know what I mean? You know, and we're obviously not ready for what's going on. So you look at places like Italy, Spain, France, China, huge numbers of sick, huge numbers of dead people. This is just a corona. Don't get me wrong, not just the coronavirus, but this coronavirus, again, the coronavirus is responsible for SARS, for MERS, for the common cold. Right. If this was a strain of flu that we didn't control, that got out, it'd be even worse. We'd be even worse off because the flu kicks the coronavirus's ass as far as, you know, morbidity rates and shit like that. Right. So it just kind of nuts that you know, the administration, they just keep tossing money, and people on stock. Oh, I want my stock, and they keep selling the stock. It's like, where are you going with that? Why are you selling the stock in the first place? Right. Leave it alone. It's gonna go right back up eventually, right? Leave it alone. Like, I don't understand. So wait, you got rid of the shares, and now what are you gonna do? Now you have no money. There's somewhere else. If you're smart, you sold it high. When it crashed, you bought it
Right.
low. So then you make more again. I get that. But not everyone's able to do that.
Right.
And with the bill that's coming now, they really are pushing for these different things to be part of it. Huge thing for small business and individual people. That's not going to be enough, man. So it's already started before this, and this is just speeding it up. How bad it's going to get? Don't know.
The revolution will not be televised, but it might be streamed.
There you go. You should coin that. You should copyright that.
I think. Hey, well, I said it here first, and it counts as copywritten. Shaun Q said it first. Go ahead and check that out. Just in a court of law. I don't know how it works. I'm gonna record this.
It's all dry.
It's all right. We're shutting it down anyway. We that will. I think that wraps it up. We got everybody right. We got all the questions that we got asked for the most part.
We got a few. We're gonna have to get into the next time.
We'll definitely do this again. This is we'll do it. Hopefully, God willing, we'll do it in person. But we're following the quarantine laws and all that shit, and the stay at home. We did this from home. It wasn't bad. It's gonna be a little choppy, but bear with us. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We don't have a what the shit and a what's popping because we didn't have to. This whole episode was about the fam. So we were appreciating the fam. We appreciate y'all for watching and for listening. We're gonna try to figure this sound thing out, and we will come at you with another one. Right? Anything you want to say to the people? Say something to the people.
We love you. We appreciate you.
I'm gonna do the Santana. Till next time, I am Shaun Q.
Jay Roman.
Keep it old school, people. So choppy. So choppy.
Peace.
Peace.